I won an Olympic gold medal and it almost destroyed my life. I'm Marcus, 17 years as a professional athlete, world champion.
It feels like a grandfather quietly talking to you, not performing, not teaching, just sharing what life slowly taught me. A person everyone thought had it all figured out. But I need to tell you something right now, before you scroll past this video. The 5 mistakes I'm about to share with you nearly cost me everything. My marriage, my health, my identity, almost gone. And if you're chasing any kind of dream right now, whether it's in sports or anything else, you need to hear this before it's too late. When I say these mistakes cost me, I mean it. There were years, honestly, where I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. Not because my body had changed, but because I'd lost who I was underneath the medals. People look at my career now and see the highlights, the victories, the records, the sponsorships. They don't see what I gave up to get there. They don't see what I lost along the way. But I learned, and that's why I'm here.
For the first 8 years of my career, I trained like a machine, 6 hours a day, sometimes 7. If I had a rest day scheduled, I'd feel guilty. I'd think everyone else is training right now. My competitors are getting better while I'm sitting here. So I'd go to the gym anyway, or I'd go for a run, or I'd do something, anything, because rest felt like weakness. My coach would tell me, "Marcus, your body needs recovery." And I'd nod and agree, and then I'd ignore him, because in my mind, the person who worked the hardest would win. And I wanted to win more than anything. The truth is, I was breaking myself down. In 2009, I tore my Achilles tendon. Not during competition, not doing anything dramatic. I tore it during a routine training session because my body had nothing left to give. I'd pushed past every warning sign, the constant fatigue, the nagging pains, the injuries that wouldn't quite heal. I thought I was being tough. I was actually being stupid. What I learned too late is that rest is not the opposite of training. Rest is part of training. Your body doesn't get stronger during the workout. It gets stronger during the recovery. The adaptation happens when you sleep, when you eat, when you give your system time to rebuild. I wasted years overtraining, getting injured, and wondering why I wasn't improving as fast as I should have been. If I could go back, I'd train smarter, not just harder.
This channel is full of people sharing what they have learned from their careers, their mistakes, their lives. If there resonated with you, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification.
When I won, I was valuable. When I lost, I was worthless. That's how I saw myself for most of my career. My mood, my self-worth, my sense of purpose, all of it depended on how I performed that day, that week, that season. If I had a great competition, I was on top of the world. If I had a bad one, I'd spiral into this dark place where I questioned everything. My wife, Angela, we started dating in 2006, and she saw this in me immediately. She said, "Marcus, you're more than what you do." And I said, "Yeah, I know," but I didn't really believe it. Because when people knew my name, it was because of my sport. When sponsors wanted to work with me, it was because I won medals. My whole life revolved around being an athlete. The problem with that is, what happens when you're not an athlete anymore? What happens when you retire, or you get injured, or you just have an off year? If your identity is completely wrapped up in your performance, then who are you when you can't perform? I didn't figure this out until after I retired in 2018. I went through this really dark period, maybe 2 years long, where I felt completely lost. I'd wake up in the morning and think, what's the point? I'm not training for anything. I'm not competing. I don't have a purpose anymore. Angela was patient with me, but I know it was hard for her. I was grieving the loss of my identity. What helped was therapy, honestly. My therapist asked me, if you'd never been an athlete, what would make your life meaningful? And I didn't have an answer at first. But slowly I started figuring it out. I'm a husband, I'm a father now. I'm a coach. I'm someone who loves helping young athletes avoid the mistakes I made. Those things matter just as much as any medal I ever won. But it took me years to believe that.
I missed my sister's wedding because I had a competition the next day. I missed my nephew's birth because I was at a training camp. I missed anniversaries, birthdays, holidays, all of it. And every time I told myself, this is temporary. Once I retire, I'll make it up to him. I'll have time then. But you can't make up lost time. You can't go back and be there for the moments that mattered. My sister forgave me for missing her wedding, but there's still this sadness in her voice when she talks about it. My mom used to call me every week, and sometimes I'd be too tired to talk, so I'd let it go to voicemail. She passed away in 2015, and I'd give anything to have those phone calls back. Angela almost left me in 2012. We'd been married for 3 years, and she sat me down and said, "I feel like I'm married to a ghost. You're here physically, but you're not really present." And she was right. Even when I was home, I was thinking about training, about my next competition, about my diet, my recovery, my performance. I wasn't thinking about her, about us, about building a life together. The wake-up call was when she said, "I don't want to spend the rest of my life coming second to your career." That hit me hard because I loved her. I really did. But I was acting like she was just part of the support system for my athletic career, not the most important person in my life.
This channel is full of people sharing what they have learned from their careers, their mistakes, their lives. If there resonated with you, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification.
I had to make changes, real changes. I started blocking out time that was just for her, non-negotiable. I started being present when we were together, putting my phone away, not talking about training, actually listening to her. And I started asking myself, if I had to choose between winning another medal and keeping my marriage, what would I choose? Once I realized the answer was my marriage, it became easier to set boundaries with my sport.
Athletes are supposed to be tough, right? We push through pain, we don't quit, we don't complain. That's the culture. And so when I started struggling with anxiety in 2011, I didn't tell anyone. I'd have panic attacks before competitions, my heart racing, feeling like I couldn't breathe, convinced I was going to fail. But I'd just push through it. I'd tell myself, "You're fine, get it together." The anxiety got worse over the years. I started having trouble sleeping. I'd lie awake at night, replaying every mistake I made in training, every criticism from my coach, every article that said I was past my prime. I'd wake up exhausted, drag myself to training, and then wonder why my performance was declining. I didn't get help until 2016, and only because Angela basically forced me to. She made the appointment with a sports psychologist and drove me there herself. I remember sitting in that first session thinking, this is ridiculous. I don't need therapy. I just need to train harder. But the psychologist said something that stuck with me. He said, your mind is part of your body. If you injured your knee, you'd see a doctor. Why is your mental health any different? That shifted something for me. I started seeing mental health as part of my training, not separate from it. I learned breathing techniques for anxiety. I learned how to reframe negative thoughts. I learned that it's okay to not be okay sometimes, and that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom.
I always knew I'd retire eventually, obviously, but I didn't really think about what that would look like. I didn't plan for it. I just assumed I'll figure it out when I get there. And that was a huge mistake. When I retired at 39, I had no idea what to do with myself. I had some money saved, thankfully, but I didn't have a career. I didn't have skills that translated to the regular world. I'd spent my entire adult life doing one thing, and now I couldn't do that anymore. I felt useless. A lot of retired athletes go through this. We joke about it sometimes. What do you do when the only thing you're good at is something you can't do anymore? but it's not really funny. It's scary. Some guys go bankrupt. Some guys fall into depression or addiction. Some guys just kind of drift, never really finding their place in the world after sports. What saved me was starting to build my post-athletic life before I retired. In my last 3 years of competition, I started coaching part-time. I took some business courses online. I started thinking about what I wanted my life to look like after sports, and I started building towards that. It made the transition so much easier. If you're an athlete, or if you're in any career with a short lifespan, start preparing for what's next, now. Not 5 years from now, now. Build skills, make connections, figure out what brings you meaning outside of your primary identity. Because that day will come whether you're ready or not. I'm not perfect. Even now, 6 years after retiring, I still struggle sometimes. I still catch myself measuring my worth by external achievements. I still have moments where I miss the competition, the adrenaline, the focus. But I know what I'm doing now. I catch myself. I remember what matters. I choose to be present with my family, to take care of my mental health, to build a life that's about more than just winning. If I could go back and tell my younger self anything, it would be these 5 things. Rest is part of training, not the enemy of it. You are more than your performance. Relationships matter more than medals. Mental health is just as important as physical health. And please start preparing for life after sports before you're forced to. 17 years is a long time to dedicate to one thing. I don't regret my career, but I do regret some of the things I sacrificed to have it. I'm sharing this because maybe it'll help you. Maybe you'll make different choices. Maybe you'll find balance earlier than I did. Maybe you won't have to learn these lessons the hard way.
This channel is full of people sharing what they have learned from their careers during streaks through their lives. If there is resonated with you, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification.